Hi, I'm Amberly Ryan, and I've always had a pioneer spirit, and it's both spiritual and also just ethically and morally, and it even plays a part. I think ancestral plays a part. A lot of my family, a lot of the women had a pioneer spirit, and here's what it is. It's a mindset or an attitude of exploring new ideas, taking risks, and leading the way into unknown and untested areas, often with courage, creativity, and determination. If you think about civics, government, and humanity, right? The United States, the way it all played out, it had to have a pioneer spirit. There had to be a mindset, an attitude to explore, to create new ideas, right? There was risk that took place. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of uncertainty. But guess what? Between creativity and determination and courage, we can do this. There has to be mutual respect. And the founding of the United States, if you look at the Constitution and you read the Ten Commandments in the Bible, it goes hand in hand. And when you read, like the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, it talks about one nation under one God. Not the dividing, not the conquering. One nation under one God. The problem is, in my opinion, we've took respect out of people and we've created a new set of slavery. And that's under the big machine. That's under, the corporation. And there's a difference to me between corporate America and constitutional rights of America. And what people... I wish the big machine, the big political machine of just feed the economy, just make the dollars, I wish we could figure out a way to where we could have true freedom to be ourselves. And people, if they go in business by doing something that they enjoy, it's not going to feel like they're a slave to a system that's against them. When they're able to use their natural creativity, if they like cooking, if they like cleaning, if they like organizing, if they like art, if they like skincare, if they like building homes, if they like natural healing, if, and all these things. If they're a stay-at-home mother and they're teaching their children and they want to bring their education that they're teaching them open to the public, that's what it should be. Because the Constitution was built on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when we all have those, then we're not a slave to a big machine. We are able to enjoy life. So we talked about the pioneer spirit, okay? It's a mindset, it's an attitude of exploring new ideas, taking risks, leading the way into unknown and untested areas, and you have to have courage, creativity, and determination, right? There's different types of courage, right? There's the courage, the ability to face the fears, to face the danger and the difficulty, the bravery, the determination, even when the outcome is uncertain. There's physical courage. What if you're facing bodily danger? What if you're facing bodily pain? What if the bravery that you're facing is physical danger, physical harm, physical pain, right? There's moral courage. What is moral courage? That's when you're facing ethical or social challenges. That's when it takes the strength to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular, even when it's risky. But speaking such truths against injustice, defending someone that is treated unfairly. Right? It takes courage. It takes moral courage to defend someone that's being treated unfairly and cruel. If you look at the medical system, many women are treated unfairly and cruel. They are not being treated with dignity nor respect. And we're going to get into another thing when people, there's a word here, let me look it up. When they're obstructing the health care or the legal care that woman, that means people are actively hindering, actively blocking, actively interfering with the proper operation, the proper enforcement, and the proper execution of the laws and the rights. Okay? When they get in the way of the laws and they get in the way of the rights of that person. When they have the outcome of better health. Right? But there's reasons. There's people not taking accountability. It's interesting. If we get back into, and I'm not wanting to teach my kids this for, I need them to know the basic Bill of Rights and the 10 Commandments. We have rules, we have rights, we have responsibilities. Okay? And we need to know the difference of those, right? We have rights. We are entitled to certain things. We have the right to freedoms. A person has moral and legally needs to be allowed to have their dignity, their liberty, and their well-being protected. Okay? Elements and freedoms. We do have rights. Human rights, universal freedoms, universal protections. Every person is entitled to simply because they're a human being, such as the right to life, dignity, safety, and equality. Okay? Civil rights. These are granted and protected by government or nation's laws to ensure people to receive equal treatment and full participation in society, such as voting rights, equal protection, whether you're rich or poor, whether you have political powers in your family bloodline or they think your bloodline's lower than dirt. Okay? Freedom from discrimination. Whether it's your age, your race, your gender, those kind of things. Natural rights. These are basic rights believed to come from nature, come from God. Okay? Not from a government of a man. Okay? But these are natural rights from God. They are the right to life, to liberty, to the pursuit of happiness. Okay? They're considered inherent or unalienable. And then we need to know what is liberty, what is freedom. Okay? And we're going to learn these things. Before we learn those, we need to learn about government. And a government is an organization or a system through which a society or nation makes or enforces laws, provides order, and manages public affairs. Okay? Now, there are certain types of government. We have, in the United States, we're not a monarchy. Now, Britain and England, I believe they are, because they have a government that's led by a king or a queen or an emperor, where the leadership is usually inherited, like they have a specific bloodline that is inherited, okay? And sometimes they have absolute power, and sometimes they have limited power of laws based on their constitution over there. Now, in the United States, it's supposed to be a system where it's elected and there's representatives, and so it should be like a democracy and a republic. However, if you notice, according to research on all presidents, do we really have an election, or is an election rigged? Or is it that they're wanting to tell us that we're voting and that president gets in? Or are they researching that president's bloodline? Because if research is correct, even JFK, even Lincoln, these people had certain bloodlines. Okay? So I'm not so sure, but according to the books, we're supposed to be a democracy and a republic. Democracy is a system of government in which power comes from the people who elect the representatives or vote directly on laws and policies. A republic is a government in which citizens elect representatives to make decisions on their behalf, and there is no monarchy. We're going to get into that because some of that, it feels to me like we have the Constitution, we have the Bill of Rights. We better get into them, dig deep, and know them. Otherwise, is the wool being pulled over our eyes? President Clinton and Hillary, do y'all have a bloodline that y'all need to be let known? See, I'm not so sure. I need to understand this. So let's get into the American spirit. The American spirit is a set of values, attitudes, and ideas that are often associated with the United States, including freedom, independence, self-reliance, hardworking, innovation, and a belief in opportunity and progress. This is highlighted as the core value of freedom, courage, hard work, and the belief in progress. See, I think the American spirit and the pioneering spirit go hand in hand. Okay? And we need to get back to we, the people of the United States of America, not we, the incorporation of the United States of America. We don't need... I'm sure the business needs to keep running. But if we overrule and disrespect and lose the people, how are we going to feed the machine? Because my generation didn't ask for trillions upon trillions in debt. I didn't even get to ask if that's how we wanted the money spent. My children was born into debt because the United States was in debt. That's not really fair to us, is it? We didn't get to say, Mr. Obama, I'm going to pay $35,000 for a plate at your table. Tom Hanks did, according to news, for your birthday celebration. I didn't. I don't make $35,000 a year, sir. That's ridiculous. That's absurd to me. Right? By the way, you might know somebody on TV. We all grew up with Bob Ross. He was so sweet on TV, but if you meet one in real life, they may not be that so sweet. He might be a spoiled, rotten brat who hates your guts. You might have liked an image on TV and thought, man, that man would have made a great father. And then you know somebody and you're like, why do you hate me so much? What have I done to you that you hate me so much? Just because they can hate you. Because you're a woman. Because they feel like, you look like this, you must be a ho, ho, ho. I don't even believe in that the way you do. So that one just went, the ho, ho, ho that bounced off of her face went, she the hoe, not me. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. So, thank goodness the Constitution was written. It was written in 1787, it was ratified in 1788, and is the supreme law of the land. So, regardless of anything, in this medical case, my rights has been totally trampled on, and I am a United States citizen. And that means I have the right to liberty, to safety, to the pursuit of happiness. Okay? I have freedoms. I have core values. And I need to have those rights protected. And then that's where people come in. You know, hey, I'm a citizen. I'm telling you my rights was violated. This is what I'm needing for my rights to be ratified. Ratify my rights. Formally approve and confirm. Officially take action. Get these Galdex stones out. Okay? The doctor that does that and helps me is the doctor that's going to be the hero. And they're going to be in my book. And that book might be verbally online, but they're going to be the hero. Okay? Not the doctor that embezzled, $50,000 to $400,000 from Medicare and Medicaid. They're not going to be the absolute hero in my book. L.A. Your daddy was a doctor too. Is he the one of the big diet plan that, is just a bunch of chemicals? Did you learn that from your daddy? My goodness. My goodness. If that's the case, we need a whole ratification system. By the way, if a doctor has embezzled $400,000 from Medicare and Medicaid, they need their license taken away. We, the people of the United States of America, said so. They lied. They're fraud. They want to get rich scheme. Bye. Not here, you don't. Go work in prison. I'm serious. I stand 10 toes on the ground. 10 toes on the ground. You frauded Medicare and Medicaid? You think God is viewing you as a real good boy? You're certainly not a man. A man would not do that. A man would not say, you know what? Medicare and Medicaid patients who are chronically ill and in chronic pain, who have chronic diseases and illnesses that needs taken care of. I'm a man. I'm gonna lie in their reports. I'm gonna lie all through here. I'm gonna say this woman is a hoe and she's doing all this bad. She's seeking drugs, and I'm not gonna send her a referral to the doctor that can take the gallstones, but I know his name. And I'm not gonna give her the proper medications, and I'm not gonna send her to the right thing. Nope. You know what I am gonna do? I'm going to quadruple bill Medicare and Medicaid right now, and I'm going to get paid 4 times what I deserve for this appointment. And I'm going to lie and say I was with her for 2 hours. I really was with her 15 minutes, but I'm going to bill those 2 hours for 8 hours. And then, and my staff was with her too. I'm going to bill for them too. And the next thing you know, the man's not paying taxes. He ain't even telling you half of what his income is. And y'all want to pick on me because y'all found out I had food stamps at some point in my life. You embezzled Medicare and Medicaid. You're mad because you got caught. You're mad because someone spoke out against you. You're mad. You're throwing a little pissy fit. But you look like an overgrown My Buddy doll, so I expect a little fit from you. I can't believe that doctor came in that day looking like... Oh, my God. He came in with a red and blue baseball cap on. He looked just like an overgrown My Buddy doll. His bleached blonde hair sticking out of it. He had these jeans with rolled up white sneakers. I dressed my buddy doll growing up. I had a My Buddy doll. I had twins of them. I was going to be twins of them, and let me tell you, I did. I had a kid sister doll, too. Anyways, he came in, and he had his pant legs rolled up and these little bobby socks, and he had these white Sketcher sport shoes on, and he had blue jeans that, they rolled up, and probably American Eagle. I think they were American Eagle. And he had his American Eagle shirt on, and then he just threw a little white coat on, and he had this little hat, and just, I'm Dr. And I almost laughed at him. I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. You look like an overgrown kid up in here. You don't look professional at the moment. And I just looked at, I said, I can't take you serious if you don't at least write down some notes in this appointment. What do you mean you don't take me serious? I said, you look like an overgrown My Buddy doll. He left the room we were in and went out and got a piece of copy paper and a pen and came in there. Okay, I'm going to take notes. And then, I am so sorry. I'm not sorry at all. I am not sorry at all that I said that to you. Somebody needed to tell you, do your job. If you'd have done your job and paid your taxes and not embezzled Medicare and Medicaid, you wouldn't be in the trouble you're in. But you chose to do that. You did. You need to go to prison. You should not have your license as a doctor. And all these doctors using fake names. It should be highly against the law. You know why? Because it's putting people in jeopardy. There is civil America, and we are civilians. And we are supposed to have rights that are granted and protected by the government and the national laws. It's ensured that people get and receive equal treatment. We are entitled to a full participation in society. We have voting rights. We have equal protection. We have freedom from discrimination. And when people feel like they're entitled to come to the United States, or if they're born into the United States and they want to use a bunch of fake names and fake aliases, and they're saying that they're born this name of this doctor, but today I'm going to go by this doctor's name, and today I'm going to go by this doctor's name, and today I'm going to go by this doctor's name, it's putting the citizens in danger. And so it's violating their rights. And in the Constitution, we have fundamental principles, fundamental laws, and it's supposed to operate in a manner that protects the rights and the people. Okay? And that was written in effect in 1787. It was ratified in 1788. I did not pull that out of the crack of my rear end. Okay? I didn't. It is real. And so, I'm having to be courageous, and I'm having to tell y'all this is what's going on. And so, we need to abolish the doctoral position of the physicians that's using fake names. We need to put an end to something completely. This needs to stop. And it usually takes authority with deliberate action to act in a formally ending and eliminating a law, a practice, a system, or an institution. That institution needs to go completely down. They've embezzled, they've frauded, more than one, they've schemed, okay? Where are their ethics? Where are their morals? Okay? Where's the ethics? Where's the morals? And a doctor is supposed to be ethically and morally held accountable by law. They're in a higher position than their patients. And they're not giving their patients the adequate respect. They're discriminating. And discrimination is against the Constitution. It is. And they're mad that a female has pointed it out to them. Right? They're mad that a female's telling you what took place at these clinics, and this was not okay. I'm also telling you the good doctors and what the good ones have said. And I've had mostly good care in my life until this one individual and then his whole cartel of them, and that should be absolutely against the Constitution. It should be against the Bill of Rights. In fact, I know it is. I do. And so there are people with doctoral positions in law, and they know they need to stand up for the citizens of America. Are they going to want to be known as someone that stood up? As a man that knew how to legally get this case settled? To legally get this story out? To legally get this woman's help? To legally get her rights met? Get her healthy and right so that she can pursue her dreams, her liberty, and her right to happiness? Or do you want to go down in history as, I'm a mouse with a doctoral degree. I knew I could do something about it, and I chose not to. Why? Because she's a woman. She doesn't have much money. She's hard to deal with. Make whatever excuse. Oh, you tried to say I was a whore? I'm not. I think I proved that correct. No, I'm not. You're full of shit. The whole team that did that. Whose team are you on anyway? So, an example of ethics. When I asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, give me an example of ethics. Doctors are to maintain patients' confidentiality in a code of ethics. That's what it said. It also said a company could not ethically accept a bribe that interferes with patient care. They also must refuse a bribe or a kickback when it interferes with patient care. Ethics are rules and standards governing professionals or societal behaviors. It's often formal and agreed upon in a group setting. Medicare and Medicaid have sets of ethics. Doctors gets paid. The United States knows many patients are not going to be able to afford every bit of their care, so they set these programs up, Medicare and Medicaid. Doctors sign, they take an agreement, and they say, hey, I'm going to take care of 10% of my patients a day are going to be Medicare and Medicaid. I'm going to get paid this much for a time slot of them. Ethically and morally, they're not to over and triple bill, because that would be abuse, treating someone or something in a cruel, harmful, or improper way. So are they abusing their system, the government system that was put in place? Are they abusing it? Are they lying about it? Are they frauding it? Are they cheating it? Are they choosing to avoid to help somebody? Right? Just because they're awake and they're watching, they know they have certain needs. They know there's specific standards that's supposed to be dealt with. Right? I think doctors, lawyers, these type of people, they should have to take a moral and ethical test every year. And I think the public should also test them. Somebody in the public every year just quietly go in, not say they're being tested, and be like, test them. There should be something in place that would flag the misconduct. Misconduct is improper, unacceptable, and unethical behavior, especially in someone in position of responsibility or authority. They are breaking rules. They are violating standards. They are acting in dishonest gain. That would lead to being unethical. They're acting in a way that goes against moral principles. They're going against professional standards. They're going against the accepted rule and the accepted right and the wrong. Their behavior is described as immoral, dishonest, and improper. And when a doctor behaves that way, they are going against the Constitution, which protects the patient as well as the doctor. But it sets the standard for the doctor. The doctor is supposed to treat the patient ethically and morally with the proper code of conduct. Otherwise, judiciary action gets taken place. There has been an abuse of the system of Medicare and Medicaid. And that's led to neglect of patient care. Neglect is when failing to care for someone or something properly. It's often resulting in disadvantage or harm. The patient went to you. She told you she had pain. You know she's got inflamed bowels, and this happens. You know she has gallduct stones. You knew. You doctors had the ability to send her to the person to get them taken out. L.A. had it in his notes. I'm going to call, blah, blah, blah. And I called that doctor just the other day. They are going to see me. I do have an appointment. What I'm trying to tell you, it was supposed to be through him. Just so happened that someone answered the phone that recognized my name, and they said, hey, come in and see us. Because you've definitely been neglected by the physicians that was supposed to help care for you. They have not sent out referrals. They're doing this deliberately. They're choosing to neglect. Therefore, they are choosing to be unethical. Therefore, there needs to be judiciary action take place. A patient has the right to wholesome care. The Constitution protects it. What is wholesome? Promoting health, well-being, or moral goodness. It's described as something healthy, good, and beneficial for the mind, the body, and the soul. If you fail to neglect to give wholesome standard of care to the patient, where's your ethics? Where's your morals? You need to be judicially handled for that right there. Interfering with the patient's right to proper health care. You obstructed justice. You obstructed her health care. So that's the 30-minute lesson on civics and humanity today. We will get further in it in time. It's interesting with the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the history of the United States of America teaches you and I. We should be able to say, look, here's what my rights are, here's what my responsibilities are. Okay? That's what it's all about. And we're born here. Or many doctors come here. There are good foreign doctors. I have some good foreign doctors on my team. I have never dealt with the horrific doctor till this. I am telling you, when it got bad, it got bad. The healthcare system wasn't always like that. And they do not like it when you stand up for yourself. They will say you're non-compliant. They will say, you've gotten violent with them. They'll say, this, that, or the other. They'll just make up a whole bunch of crap. And HIPAA laws are supposed to be protected. But you think doctors are even ethically doing that? No, they're not. They're not. Many in the healthcare team, these counselors out here, they're just going around talking about all your business. I had to learn the hard way. They don't care. They don't care about you. I would like to face one and be like, why do you hate me so much? Why do you hate women? Why do you hate children? Why do you act like the Constitution only is representative to you? Oh, I think I know why. Because you think because you have a physical body and you can actually go fight for the Constitution physically, that it only applies to you. Let me tell you something, buddy. I may not be able to physically fight for the Constitution, but I could sit right here on this phone as a mom and as a wife and as everything else, as a human. Forget everything else. I have courage, too. I have a voice. I have 5 children that are seeing that their mom knows her rights are violated, and she's telling the public. Why? It's not just so she could get her story out. She has to get her story out to show people this can happen to you. It can happen to you. Be prepared for it. Know your Constitution beforehand. Take that Constitution with you. Have it highlighted. If the doctor's not caring, excuse me, my rights are being violated. They also have a standard of care. Understand that. I know my doctor, Dr. Wiley, she's doing everything she can. I respect when she says it's out of her league, because I'm tired of doctors saying that they can take care of certain things and they can't. They turn around and kill you. The doctor that says, hey, that's out of my league, like get my hormone levels checked. It is in her league to check my hormones. She did do that. Now, I don't want her prescribing me hormones. I don't want Lad Atkins or anybody else prescribing me hormones. I don't trust them. That's not their field. Okay? I'm worried about blood clots, things like that. I'm worried about my body. I need somebody that works with hormones, that can look at my blood and say, hey, and if I can fix it holistically, that's how I want to go. Holistically, nutritionally. Not big pharma way. Okay? I don't need a bunch of horse piss in me. Okay? I don't need no monkey juice in me. I don't need bat spit or elephant cum in me. I don't need, what is that called? That dragon that they inject in you, the venom of the dragon, or a bunch of snake viper venom. I don't need all these chemicals. I wish I'd never gotten a bunch of vaccines. Okay? My conscience bothers me because my kids has had so many vaccines. Okay? But I do need to know where my hormone levels are and get things corrected. And also, with depression, you know how I'm treating depression for myself? Saffron. I forgot the nationality of these two women that I watched, and they do a lot of cooking, and they use a lot of saffron. And she says, I use saffron because emotionally I'm a wreck. She says, I've had 3 kids back to back. My hormones are messed up. I am depressed. She hit postpartum depression bad. And she takes saffron in pill form, and she cooks with saffron. And so I've started doing that, and I can tell a difference in my mood. And I'll tell you, I don't hold a lot of secrets. I'll tell you what I'm doing on my body, but I'm not telling you to do it for you, because if something happens to you, I can't take responsibility. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is a dopamine patch. I have no energy, okay? And I'm a go-getter. I have very bad OCD, and if I can't keep up with my OCD, depression sets in very, very badly. Like right now, I'm in a lot of pain. Like the spine pain shot up. Right now, I'm like at 10. It hopefully will go back down to an 8 where I was at, but it shot up. I've sat up a long time, and I've stood up a long time this morning. When I get to that point, if it stays this way, it's going to eat at my mind, okay? This is why I can't get my makeup done, things like that, get my art done. I have so much I want to do. I just want the pain taken care of. Get these gallbladder stones out, okay? I'm working on keeping my bowels uninflamed. When I break my fast in the morning, okay, let me tell you how I'm going to do my day. Real quick. I'm going to go in, and I'm going to drink this nutritional drink I make, this tea. I'll do a video on it. I'm going to drink some oil, and I'm going to scramble 2 eggs in some butter, and I'm going to put some cheese on it and some salt, and I'm going to have some sriracha because I love it, and I know it's not good for the gallstones, but I cannot stomach the eggs by themselves. It just smells like mucus. So I'm going to put sriracha on the mucus so it tastes better, so I can get it down the hatch so that my body can accept that protein, okay? And that nutrition, okay? That's the plans for today. I got the boys' scripture wrote out. They're going to write that. We're going to go over our daily text. They have 2 definitions in civics they're going to write today. They are going to listen to this recording. There's reasons why, okay? And that breaks our conversation. We're also going to read a couple of pages in the book of the Constitution. And that's going to be my contribute to their education. It's teaching them discipline. My youngest are 15. It's not like it's over their head. Like, they have to start disciplining themselves, okay? They also have to know that sometimes they have to listen to a woman, whether they want to or not. It doesn't matter if you don't want to listen to a woman. Sometimes you have to, okay? And I'm a pioneer woman. That means I was born courageous. I was born determined, okay? I was born to fight for my rights and yours. I'll come more fighting for your rights than I will my own. And I am not joking you on that. If you think this legal case with this doctor is just because of me, it's not. If it was just me, I would have let it go a long time ago. It's not just me. It's affected me. It's affected my 5 children. It's took a toll on my marriage. I don't know if this marriage is going to survive it. It's took a toll on my life. It's not just that it affected my family. There's other families. There's a family in Oklahoma that was 8, and all of them are no longer with us because his rights was so violated and her rights was so violated. So with me standing up, it's with a pioneer spirit. This has got to stop. And I will not be part of any denomination or organization that says God says you don't have rights. My God is Jehovah, and he says I have rights. He says you have rights. He says the foreigner has rights. He says, but you also have responsibilities. You have morals. You have ethics. You have rights. You have responsibilities, freedoms, and liberties. But you have to do it my way. Just the way it is. Peace out.